Psalm 133 verse 3, Harmony on the earth and its heavenly congregations. Psalm 133:3, It is like the dew of Hermon coming down upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing life forever. The psalmist is speaking of the unity that flowed through the group of believers, and he likens it to the dew from Mount Hermon. It is a sure bond of union between Judah and Ephraim. Hermon is in the north and Zion to the south. Morning by morning the sun, which is nature's great distiller, extracts moisture from the snow-peaked mountains, forming mists and clouds that waft southward to shed their treasure on the hill of Zion. In that manner, the various parts of the land serve one another in God's natural order. So, it is with brotherly love. Its mutual service binds the home, the city, the land of promise together. Tabor was on the west of Jordan and a 9,200-foot peak of Hermon on the east, and it seems natural to consider these two mountains as representatives of the east and west. Both of them are objects of beauty and grandeur. It is God's way of a benediction. For there the Lord commanded the blessing. The psalmist recognizes in the periodical worship of Zion an occasion of this brotherly love and speaks therefore of the love as God's blessing forever. Historically, Ephraim's jealousy of the growing power of Judah was among the causes which eventually brought about the disruption of Israel. Until the time of David and Solomon, Ephraim had held the place of honor among the tribes. As the land in the north helps the land in the south, it is the way of the Spirit to promote the camaraderie of God's children, filling us with a desire to help one another. We are individually channels of God's help to those in need. The blessing of the dew comes down from heaven above and waters God's garden beneath, so it is with the church as the fountain of God's blessing refreshes the church through the water of His word. Just as the dew descends silently and almost imperceptibly, so does the church grow, persistent, almost imperceptibly as we transcend in mind and will with an increase in love for one another as we absorb the living word, and through its maturing saints, the divine spirit of love will effectively manifest itself to the entire world. The dew of Hermon. The dew of Mount Hermon forms the dew and mist that descends upon the hill of Zion. This mist differs entirely from the ordinary dew of the open country. It is phenomenal in the sense that it is peculiar to Palestine and the East. What forms is a soft mist that comes from the Mediterranean during the summer, when the heat is greatest, and the country is burnt up with the terrible sunshine. It is attracted by the inland heights, and condensed into copious moisture upon their sides, and creeps down upon the plains, reviving and refreshing every green thing. It comes first of all to Mount Hermon and helps to keep up its unchanging robe of snow, and to fill its springs, and feed its cedars, and then it flows down and makes the corn to grow green in the valleys, and the vines to swell out their purple grapes in the vineyards, the lilies to unfold their crimson radiance in the fields. It is to this wonderful phenomenon that the psalmist compares the unity and harmony of those who dwell together as brethren, a most beautiful and expressive image. For just as Mount Hermon, that is high above the plains and valleys of Palestine, benefits them by its clouds and rains and streams, imparts to them the blessings it receives from heaven and thus becomes essential to their life and well-being, so these plains and valleys, in turn, have helped to elevate and maintain Hermon on its throne, and send up to it their evaporations and radiations to become the sources of its spotless snows, its billowy clouds, and its sparkling streams and cooling winds. They help it as much as it helps them. They are mutually dependent upon each other. The lowly plain does not envy the lofty mountain, nor does the lofty mountain look down in contempt upon the lowly plain. They are associated together in physical harmony. They are there in close relation to each other, appointed by Him who weighs the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance, and they could have no other position or shape or function. The one could not do or even be without the other. In the same way, the psalmist would have the inhabitants of the Holy Land to live in similar confluence. Let the religion of Ephraim be like the all-pervading fragrance of the holy oil of the temple in Judah, and let the religion of Judah be like the moisture that is born from the snow-capped Hermon in Ephraim, which falls in refreshing drops upon the dry southern hills of Judah. When the covenant people had lost the blessing through their disunion, they were weakened, and, in consequence, were carried away into captivity. their land was made desolate. But now, if they become reunited and continue in mutual harmony and brotherly kindness, helping and encouraging in the good work that God has prepared for them, if they observe together with the same ordinances of religion and preserve together with the purity of their national faith, then God would remove the threat, and command upon them the blessing, even life forevermore. Their land would become once more a land flowing with milk and honey, and they themselves would be once more a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a peculiar people zealous of good works. We read from the prophet Ezekiel in 36:24-28, "For I will take you from the nations and gather you from all the countries and will bring you into your own land." 25 I will also sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and all your idols. 26 I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you, I will remove your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. 27 I will place my spirit within you and cause you to follow my statutes and carefully observe my ordinances. 28 Then you will live in the land that I gave your fathers, you will be my people, and I will be your God. And so, would it be with every family and church and nation that dwelt together in the unity and harmony of love. God would command there the blessing, even continuous and prosperous life. Especially in the church would this goodness and pleasantness of brethren dwelling together in unity be felt. When will churches recognize the fact that they are not meant to provoke one another in envy and jealousy, rather, we are called to mollify each other with our good works? When will their members learn the great truth that God bestows the blessings of salvation upon individuals, not that these blessings may be confined to them, but that they may be diffused by them? The analogy of the dew from Mount Hermon is only the type of a heavenly shadow of something much grander and more enduring. There is the triunity of the deity to which we are to lift up our eyes, a rock that is higher than any in this world. From them come upon us the dew of grace and the river that flows from the throne of God and the Lamb, and God there indeed commands the blessing, even life forevermore.